Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream, and I'm going to do our March the 16th just for today in a meditation. I hope you are doing well this morning. The title of this meditation, let's see, is Inventory. The purpose of a searching and fearless moral inventory is to sort through the confusion and the contradiction of our lives so that we can find out who we really are. Using addicts are a confused and confusing bunch of people. It's hard to tell from 1 minute to the next what they're going to do or who they're going to be. Usually, the addict is just as surprised as anyone else. When we used, our behavior was dictated by the needs of our addiction. Many of us still identify our personalities closely with the behavior we practiced while using, leading us to feel shame and despair. Today, we don't have to be the people we once were, shaped by our addiction. Recovery has allowed us to change. We can use the fourth step inventory to see past the needs of the old using life and find out who we want to be today. Writing about our behavior and noticing how we feel about that behavior helps us understand who we want to be. Our inventory helps us see beyond the demands of active addiction, beyond our desire to be loved and accepted. We find out who we are at the root. We begin to understand what's appropriate for us and what we want our lives to be like. This is the beginning of becoming who we really are. Just for today, if I want to find out who I am, I'll look at who I've been and who I want to be. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please, and thank you. What a marvelous meditation, talking about our inventories and talking about how we are such confusing and contradicting type people. But we can use the fourth step to actually see past all of that and start to map out. Listen to me, map out who we want to be. I like that because I'm so confused. This is just my point of view. If I'm so confused and I'm so full of contradiction, what makes you think that I know who I am, first of all, that half of the stuff that I do and say that is so premeditated, if I'm so confused and so contradicted, right? Yeah, it's because the pendulum swings left to right all day long as a direct result of the mood swings, the thoughts that we can't take control of. Active addiction threw us into the throes of uncertainty. Not only was I uncertain about what I would or would not, I knew one thing for sure I was going to do, and that was get high all day, every day. I knew that I was going to do that, right? I knew that I would do that much, but in and of itself, I could not be predictable. You could not look at me and say, okay, today I know she's going to be in a great mood. Today I know she's going to be in a bad mood. You could not bet your money on me. Unless you just said she's going to get high today. That you would win the bet on. And that's it. So when I come into the program of Narcotics Anonymous, I am not stable. I don't care what anybody says. Just because I take the drug out of my system does not make me stable. I'm just as unstable and capable of different behaviors as anyone, right? Because that's who I've become. That's who I have established myself as being, right? Unstable, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. A little bit more stable physically because the drug is no longer there, and the potential to stabilize in all these other areas is now available to me. It's now there, right? But I gotta do work. It's like telling somebody, come pick me up, and you say, where are you? They can't tell you where they're at. You can guess. Can you look up and tell me what stores are around? You know, in my neighborhood, I know the county building, the bus station, and McDonald's. McDonald's is the only fast food restaurant with some reasonable prices that a person can take $1 or $2 and go get something to eat right by the bus station. And on the other side of the bus station is the Mission. So that tells you a heck of a lot. And they just built a super huge judicial building, a court building that takes up 2 full blocks. So you already know what time it is in my community, right? If you tell me, I say to you, where are you? I'm not really sure where I am. Can you see any street signs? No, not really. Okay, well, look down the road and look up the road and tell me, what type of buildings do you see? Um, I see something that looks like a bus depot and a McDonald's and a bunch of brown, look like prison buildings, but it's not prison because there's people standing around. Oh, okay, girl, I know where you're at. You're down there by the Mission. Can you do me a favor? Cross the street and get to the bus depot, and there's a pull around right in the front of it. Can you go stand there? And I'm about to swoop through in my Jeep, right? So now, because I know where she's at, I can go get her. This is the point that I'm making about our 4th step. A lot of people give it a bad rap, except they haven't told you as a direct result of doing the 4th step, they were able to figure out their patterns. They were able to figure out how they're prone to act. And then through going through the 5th step with their sponsor or someone they trust, they were able to offload a lot of that guilt and shame. See, a lot of times people don't tell you the great stuff that happens as a result of doing your 4th step inventory. It helps us to see past the needs of the old using life, right? That's what it says here. And find out who we want to be. And in that sense, finding out who you want to be allows me to also know who I don't want to be. In other words, I'm able to locate myself. I'm able to GPS myself. I'm able to tell myself, girl, this is where you are. But that is not where you're trying to go. And so now when someone says, yes, I can help you, or they just start offering information, ideals and resources, they just start offering information because I have a clearer picture of who I want to be. I know whether or not that information is going to be useful. Or is it something that I need to just tuck away and file it away? And if I ever need it, go back to it. Because I can't do everything in a day or in a moment or in a season of my life. I have to be intentional and purposeful about who I want to be and what resources or behaviors I'm going to employ to get myself there. If you want to be a teacher of school children, there's some things that you're going to need to do, because as a teacher of them, if you're talking about younger age children, you need to have a knowledge of a plethora of topics, because you're going to be the one person teaching them, with the exception of PE and probably music. You're going to be the person teaching them science and teaching them social studies and teaching them to read and teaching them math. You need to have a base knowledge of a lot of things. So you need to get back to college, right? Or you need to brush up. If you know who you want to be, you can basically say, I'm over here, but I'm trying to get there. And this is the steps I need to do, to get there. This is the beginning of becoming who you really are. I like that last sentence, right? This is the beginning. So if you haven't gotten to your fourth step, I want for you to start figuring out how you're going to get to your fourth step and who you're going to get to your fourth step with. And that part, that B part, is the part that you need to focus on right now, because you're going to need the help of a trusted individual to do your fourth step. We spend a lot of time taking the inventory of others. Now it's your turn. You get to take your own inventory. You get to take your own inventory. And you might be pleasantly surprised about all of the beautiful things about yourself that you discover or rediscover. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. Talk to you tomorrow.